Is the newest Spider-Man animated film the best in the multiverse? Let's find out now. Hey everyone, it's David Starker. Maybe in this universe, I'm David Starker. I was bit by a radioactive spider that gives me super critic abilities, I guess. I'm here to talk to you about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which comes to theaters on June 2nd, 2023. It is the follow-up to the fantastic 2018 Into the Spider-Verse, which was phenomenal. It was probably my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. It's just such an interesting breath of fresh air. This film follows that up pretty much directly. It kind of takes everything that the first movie did and does it bigger. But is it worth it? Is it the best Spider-Man movie in all the multiverse? Well, my hot take is I definitely think you should watch it. Look, it's not as good as Into the Spider-Verse, but that was a phenomenal kind of amazing film that came out of nowhere. This movie does everything that film did, but does it bigger and kind of more epic, but it's a little bit long and it ends on a cliffhanger. So, but if you liked Into the Spider-Verse, you will definitely like this movie. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more of the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like. I'm not going to go into spoilers in this review. This will be a spoiler-free review, and so you can watch it without worrying. So, Across the Spider-Verse kind of starts directly after Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. Being Miles Morales, he's trying to balance being a kid going to school and also being Spider-Man. He's been Spider-Man for, I think, about a year in this movie, and he is missing his friends from Into the Spider-Verse. And he's having some, family problems. He's a kid. He's growing up. He can't tell his parents. They are getting upset with him because he's constantly distracted. And eventually, a chance encounter with a new supervillain causes one of his friends to return. And this causes a chain reaction of events that could threaten the entire multiverse. So, things I liked about this movie. Well, pretty much I will just start this off. It has everything that Into the Spider-Verse had. So everything I liked about the first movie, I like about this movie. So the first thing I love the animation. I love how each world and each character has a very distinct style. Like the film starts in Gwen Stacy's world, and that has a very different look than Miles Morales' world. It's a little bit more kind of like watercolor paint. There's a lot more pinks, a lot more kind of bright colors in it. It's a little bit more, I don't know, like abstract-ish looking. I just love how that was so different from the way that Miles Morales' world looked and all the other ones. And then also I love that the spider characters, when they interact, their art style stays the same. This happened in Into the Spider-Verse, but it's a little bit more pronounced in this one. Maybe because some characters are a little bit stronger, but it is just a treat for the eyes, and you get to see so many different types of animation in one movie that it really is something that you kind of have to see to believe. The second thing I loved is the humor. Look, it's a Spider-Man movie. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be irreverent. And this one definitely does that. The first movie did it perfectly. This one carries it on. It's a little less funny than the first one, but there's still plenty of laugh out loud moments. There's still plenty of fun jokes and references that are going to make you smile and chuckle. The third thing I love, this kind of related, it's the style. This movie is just stylish. It has a comic book style throughout. So everything is kind of tied to like a comic book look, but on top of that, you have the different Spider verses that kind of clash and intermingle here. You've got the different characters and their styles. Like there's so much going on in this movie. It all feels so fresh, fun, and colorful. The fourth thing I loved is the music. Look, it is a fantastic soundtrack. Into the Spider-Verse has one of the best soundtracks for a movie I have ever heard, and this one I think continues it. It didn't have as many kind of memorable tracks, but there were definitely some good moments. There's definitely some good music, and it's definitely something I'm going to want to like listen to again after the fact. And the last thing I loved is, look, this is an epic film. This is definitely a bigger movie than Into the Spider-Verse. It deals with kind of bigger consequences, more spider worlds, more characters throughout, and it shows. It's a little overwhelming at times, to be honest, but it is just a treat to see. There's so many different Spider-Man, so many different references, so many different cameos that you're definitely have to see it again. The first thing I want to do after I finish this movie is watch it again, just to kind of see more and experience the entire thing again. So that being said, things I didn't love as much. I mentioned it's epic. It's also a little bit long, and this is more for the kids that are watching. Like I took my kids to it. They liked it, but I think it was a little bit too long for them. They didn't really love it as much as I was expecting them to. They didn't love it as much as the first movie was. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and the story is a little bit deeper and a little bit darker than the first movie. So definitely it feels like a longer overall film. That leads me to the second thing. This is a mixed. I mean, I kind of like that it's a little bit darker, but it is definitely a darker film. And for kids that are watching, it's not like that you shouldn't take kids. It's just it might not be as exciting or entertaining as the first one was. My kids also mentioned that there are a lot of adult jokes. They're not like adult jokes, but they're jokes that kind of went over their head, dealing with physics and things like that. Again, enough for them to enjoy it, but I don't think they loved it as much as the first movie. And the last thing, the biggest thing, the most egregious, if that's a thing, the ending is a little unsatisfying because it ends in a cliffhanger. I wanted to kind of see how this big epic story was going to conclude, and apparently I'm going to have to wait till later for that to happen. I don't know when the next movie is going to come out, but it'll probably be a few years. And until then, I'm just going to be waiting with bated breath. But kind of like with Infinity War and Endgame, I'm hoping that the next movie will be as satisfying as Endgame was. We'll find out in a few years, but for now, you should definitely check out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Is coming to theaters on June 2nd, 2023. Oh, and there's no stingers after credits, although the credits are really beautiful. I liked how these credits were, I don't know, a little bit more, I guess, epic. I keep saying epic. They were a little more serious, a little bit more kind of like dramatic than the Into the Spider-Verse credits were. Those were more fun, more irreverent. These are more dramatic. You can tell that they're building up to something big happening in the next movie. And there is no stinger at the end of the credits, but there is a message. So you want to stay till at least you get the message. After that, you can leave. So that is Across the Spider-Verse. It comes to theaters on June 2nd, 2023. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.